you find yourself in a state of turmoil, misery, a state just like an animal has jumped into a river or lake and is drowning. Now the question arises how to rescue the animal. You have put yourself in that sinking state or drowning state. And now the question is how to rescue. Who will rescue it? You. Try to understand. You are the one. You have put yourself in that sinking process. You are the one who can lift yourself, rescue yourself. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, and verse number 3. I've already given you some insight and we'll elaborate a little more. Verse number 3, whole chapter is dedicated to Atma Sanjama Yoga. Atma Sanjama Yoga means mastery over the self, lower self, and realizing the self. The whole process, in simple word, is meditation. Practice of meditation has different angles. Arurukshor muner yogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudhasya tasyaiva shama karanam uchyate. For one who has conquered his self, for the Muni devoted to meditation, who is ascending the yogic ladder, karma is called the means. While for one who has ascended the ladder, Shama is the means for attaining the fullness of wisdom. Practice of sadhana has two stages. First stage is Bahirmukhi sadhana. Bahirmukhi is dealing with your senses, your practical dealings with the world. Antarmukhi, and next stage is called Antarmukhi sadhana. Your whole focus is how to allow meditative process to progress by calming the mind, removing malas, gross impurities, removing distractions, leading to enlightenment. Just in a Raja Yoga plan, there are 8 limbs of Raja Yoga. Means 8 steps. Yama means don'ts, things you should not do. Mind is focused on restraint. And the basic restraints are for ahimsa, satyam, brahmacharya. Ahimsa, not to hurt, not to kill. The instruction is given in a negative way. But the practice implies developing profound love, cosmic love. Truthfulness of not to lie. So restraints are in the terms of don'ts. Niyamas called observances. things that you should observe: purity of body and mind, shaucha, contentment of mind, satsanga, and surrender to God. So many, all these points, restraints and observances, they are the foundation of yogic movement or any religious movement. And this foundation remains always important. Now, on the basis of this foundation, you enter into disciplinary aspects of yoga, asana, how to render your body steady. Because an inward movement requires facing your body, your mind, your nervous system, all the equipments you have for a divine purpose. And therefore, how to keep the equipments perfect, how to keep your body and mind at their best level. So that asana is, so many exercises have evolved. But the central purpose behind asana is to leave your body in a state of steadiness. Putting in a very simple way, practitioners of yoga, they train themselves to sit in one pose. And if you can sit in one pose for 3 hours without complaint, then it is a sample of attaining asana. Asana jaya. But here we have to also understand, each time scriptures give you certain instructions, but they are like codes. And if you follow exactly literally, you don't succeed. You succeed in getting a lot of rheumatic pains. The idea behind it, how to promote good health in your body through with a yogic insight. And that art has been given through yoga exercises, and it's an elaborate process. But in day-to-day life, if you are able to practice yoga, practice relaxation, your body develops an art of being relaxed no matter where you place it. So whether you are in a chair or in seated pose or lying down, you are in asana. You have asana jaya. Because your mind is not restricted by your body. That's the whole purpose behind. But body is constantly restricting your mind. Then even with the literal asana jaya, you are always watching the clock. Have I completed 3 hours? And you count your success in terms of duration. But that's kindergarten, which is also necessary. Every level of practice has its own importance. So asana, pranayama. Next step, how to allow the breathing process within you to be harmonized. And that becomes possible when there is nari shuddhi, the subtle channels that are that are restricted in most people. They begin to develop clarity. Prana, cosmic energy, begins to flow through them. This point has been elaborated in Kundalini Yoga. Complete attunement with cosmic prana is possible when you allow pranic energy, this latent pranic energy known as Kundalini, to pass through various chakras. But practice of pranayama aims at that. Whether you know it or not, automatically an internal harmony begins to develop in the operation of pranas. You must always understand prana is not the breath. Breath is an effect of prana. But as you harmonize the breath, now you are harmonizing the subtler aspect of prana. And that subtler aspect of prana is closely related to your mental functions. Just like a rider and the horse, both are together. If you want to control their movement, either you can ask the horse to stay still or tell the rider. So pranayama is a horse type of movement. Controlling the horse. Automatically your mind has no choice. Therefore it becomes the easiest method. Otherwise you have to deal with so many philosophy and many things to quiet the mind. But if you start with pranayama, you don't have to know too many things. Just do it. And your mind begins to relax. The relaxed mind automatically turns to what is positive. Breath relates to prana. Prana relates to mind. Mind relates to intellect. Intellect relates to cosmic mind. So they are all connected. And it starts with nose. The nose that knows. Practice of pranayama leads you to next stage. Pratyahara. Pratyahara is withdrawal of the senses. If pranas are under control, mind can draw the senses easily. But Pratyahara has two aspects. You can control the senses by controlling the mind, or control the senses by controlling the pranas. Controlling the senses by controlling the pranas is the early stage. Good, but ideal is your mind should have the ability. Your mind has no desires, objects that are distracting your mind. Your mind doesn't have any illusion about them. It doesn't have to control the senses. Senses are automatically withdrawn. But if your mind has illusions and you are not under your own control, therefore it is good for you to start controlling the prana and allowing your mind to have some space to stand on its own feet. and to work out what is good for it. All this movement up till Pratyahara is called Vahiranga Sadhana, literally meaning external. Now comes Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, the last three stages. Dharana is focusing the mind, being one-pointed. Jnana is perpetual focus. And Samadhi is expansion of consciousness, which is automatic. Your mind becomes focused and it stays focused. Consciousness expands. In daily life, everyone gets a sniff of it. For example, you walk out into your garden, enjoy a little relaxation, and what happens? Serenity enters your mind. May not enter in a profound way. Little drop of serenity, little drop of internalization. And realize that certain things you wanted to clear up within yourself. You wanted to draw some inspiration, some insight. It automatically serves up. The moment you start allowing your mind to relax, deeper resources within you open up for you. Another aspect of concentration, meditation, profounder aspect is practice of Jnana Yoga, practice of Vichar. Vichar means if you understand that all objects have one reality behind them, Satchidananda, God, Brahman. For easy understanding, think of you are by the ocean. With the idea, I'm going to enjoy the ocean. Many people have not seen the ocean, those who live far away. I'm dramatizing. So, first time you have come to the ocean, and your mind gets distracted. Where is that ocean? That wave? Where is it going? Where did it come from? How many oceans are there? How deep is the ocean? Meditation on open ocean is impossible. Contains so many things. Come to a higher level. Ocean is the reality. Don't go after the waves. Waves are nothing but the ocean. Everything you are worried about is Brahman appearing through Maya. Everything that you experience, positive or negative, nothing else is there. Brahman alone is there. By Brahman, again you must understand, it relates to pure consciousness. Everything that you experience, what makes you experience it? Your consciousness. Your consciousness is like a mirror. All things you are experiencing, they are reflections. And due to ignorance, you are constantly seeing the mirror, but your attention has gone into so many reflections. You are constantly seeing the lake or the ocean. In other words, as this understanding dawns, there is one-pointedness in your mind. That's the very advanced state. And if that one pointedness continues, you get into profounder samadhi. That type of movement that I am describing in a jnana way, they are the movement of yoga rudha. The movement of, there are two stages of spiritual ascent. One is early steps. During early steps, the verse says, karma is the means. In your day-to-day life, don't turn away from your responsibilities. Don't turn away from your practical realities in the name of sannyas. If you do that, you will not succeed. Because God has presented all these realities before you, practical realities, for your spiritual evolution, no matter how they seem to be. So when you work through your practical realities and move on, it will lead you to chitta shuddhi, purity of heart. So purity of heart is your first goal. In order to attain it, karma yoga is the answer, or rather integral yoga. Blend action, devotion, meditation, and reflection all together in daily life to whatever extent you can do. But your focus continues to be, how am I to perform my duty? Karma is the means. But when you have come to a state of entry into antaranga sadhana, internalized aspect, now shama, how much serenity can you enjoy? Practical problems require so many data has to be presented to you in order to face them. And there is another type of reality. How you can handle all these practical things. And in spite of all that, evolve day by day. The general idea, since I'm so busy, how can I take up yoga? The idea is, yoga will make your busy state cheesy. Same responsibilities that you are handling day by day. If you allow your mind to have a little bit of japa, a little bit of meditation, a little bit of internal recharging process, then you find you are handling every day in such a way that you are enriched. Your day doesn't go empty. But without the practice of yoga, days pass by empty. During those days, the demon in you is practicing austerity. And they gain immense power. So, the highlight is that karma, the skill in karma has to continue until you have developed certain degree of purity of heart. And as purity of heart develops, Shama takes over this whole process. The whole focus is serenity, how to enjoy calmness. And that calmness handles all problems automatically. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasvanusajjate sarvasankalpa sannyasi yoga rudha tadochyate. When a sage is not attached to the objects of the senses, nor to actions, and has renounced all desires, fruits of action, is called yoga rudha, yogi who has ascended the ladder of yoga. Practice of karma, karma yoga, must continue until you reach a state which is described here, when you are not attached to the objects of the senses. Before your mind, when you have a bigger project of attuning yourself with God, and your mind has developed immense joy about it, that mind cannot be trapped by the fleeting enjoyments of the senses, Vishaya Sukha. You have been drawn to the flights of swans. That mind cannot be drawn to the flights of mosquito. Naturally, therefore, you are not attached to objects. It's very simple to understand. But since the demons within human being have practiced a lot of austerity, it becomes difficult. Anityam asukham lokam. All things that you gain through your body-mind complex, all things are perishable. Even your body-mind equipment is perishable. Should that be your goal? Should you live through your whole life struggling for things like snakes, the ropes, struggling for waters of mirage? You have been drinking from it again and again, and we have never quenched your thirst. How much vairagya can develop in a very genuine way? That will depend upon your being involved in karma yoga, practicing integral yoga, leading to purity of heart. Even though 2 steps are described, it doesn't mean that when you come to the higher level, you leave the lesser steps behind. Lesser steps become more spontaneous. You never leave them behind. So he's not attached to the objects of the senses, nor to actions. People hold on to the idea, how great effort did I make? Let me announce it to the world. Let me go viral. The attachment to action. What are you gaining by it? Your spirit in you made your whole body like a miracle. That's enough miracle you can show to the whole world. Certain insight that you draw from that is you develop the art of not being so much attached to the way you expected an action to result, but become more involved in performing your action to the best of your capacity. And then leaving the mind relaxed, where your expectations should not rule your progress. Your expectations are expectations of a little ego. To be guided by a little ego all through your life, that's most miserable state. So therefore, doing your duties, what your actual expectation, purity of heart. Am I becoming more relaxed? Am I feeling closeness with God? Am I developing divine qualities? Am I growing in the image of God? And all these are profounder attainments. All this leads to renunciation of all desires. And you become an instrument in divine hand. In the early stage, you find importance of karma, actions you must perform. But you turn to God for sanction. I'm going to do these deeds. Oh God, bless me. Bless me that I succeed. That means you are asking God to sanction your activity. In advanced level is not sanction. Sanskrit word anumodan. God gives you his consent. Not consent. You are doing God's will. God smiles on. What you are doing is my will. So there is absolute approval through the stages. During earlier stage of spiritual movement, you are being sanctioned by God by your good karmas. In advanced stage, anumodan, God has become involved. He has become the highlight of your all activity. He is the source. And you have become a channel. The question of whether I will succeed or not doesn't arise. Because that question relates to God, whether will he succeed or not. And that type of question is ridiculous. Uddharet atman atmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva yatmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. Let a yogi lift himself by himself. It's an allegorical teaching. You find yourself in a state of turmoil, misery, a state just like an animal has jumped into a river or lake and is drowning. Now the question arises how to rescue the animal. You have put yourself in that sinking state or drowning state. And now the question is how to rescue. Who will rescue you? Try to understand. You are the one. You have put yourself in that sinking process. You are the one who can lift yourself, rescue yourself. The you that degrades you, that you is the lower self. The you that will lift you up is the higher self. These two are all coming from the real you within. If you continue to allow your ego, anger, hate, and Vishaya Vasana, all pleasures of the senses, to dominate you, then you are allowing yourself to be drowned, as it were. Put yourself in the midst of fire, and you are crying. Hair is burning, toes are burning. Now the question of who will rescue? You yourself will rescue yourself. Subtle point needs to be well understood. Your deeper problems of your life and death, all this relates to you. If you go to sleep, what type of dreams will arise? Who is responsible for that? People close to you? No, you are responsible. In the same hall, so many people lie down, go to sleep. Each one goes to a distinct type of dream for which that person himself or herself is responsible. Nobody has control over your dreams. You have control. So even though all people are around, you receive no help. In your dream, you're crying and sending out guttural eyes. Save me, save me. People are all around, they hear. They can't rescue you. Of course, I'm coming to a very practical way, they will wake you up. Likewise, if you follow the path of awakening, spiritual awakening, your problems will be resolved. But here, what I'm pointing out, for all your internal progress, you are responsible. Therefore, stop finger pointing. Each time you point finger, 3 fingers point to you. Continue to enrich yourself spiritually, because your real happiness is internal, a subjective attainment within you. If that attainment is not there, you may have a fabulously prosperous family and friends. All of them will be watching around you and you will be having heart attack. Therefore, all this type of thinking should be undertaken by you in a sense of great joy. Once you realize you are responsible and you have the resources, then it should bring joy in your heart. But if you continue to have the idea somebody is responsible, now there's a tremendous problem. Where is that somebody? When did I get to him? How can I send him to hell? It's the most miserable predicament. If your troubles come from outer source, then you are really miserable. The realization they come through your own source. This misunderstanding has led you into trouble. Understanding will free you of the trouble. Sabko sanamati de Bhagavan. Kumati has led you into trouble. Kumati is misunderstanding. Sumati, good understanding. Once you restore good understanding in your heart, you are one with God. You are Satchidananda. That's the goal that you have to go on ringing the bell for to your mind. The goal that needs, that's, you have no other choice but to attain that goal. And in that movement, there should be no impatience. There should be a sustained movement with perseverance, patience, and inner joy. And the whole path is known as Shama. It gives you increasing inner relaxation. If you face adversities, with this insight, you know, just like the moon emerges out of dark clouds, shines bright. God has been gracious to me. I passed through it. I'm going to shine bright. He doesn't want others to shine. Therefore, he has given this sabotage. So you are your own friend if you are going on developing divine qualities, go on promoting purity of heart, enriching yourself in a spiritual way, then there is no greater friend than you yourself. Because you begin to see things in a way that there is clarity. Your conscience speaks out and you follow it. But if your personality is not so harmonized, you are deaf to your inner conscience. Your conscience goes on telling you what is good, what is not good. But you have put a lot of muck in your ear. Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahita shitoshna sukha dukkeshu tatha manapamanayo. For one who has conquered his self by his self, his very self becomes his friend. But for one who has not conquered his very self becomes his enemy. Not difficult to understand. Look at the world. And day by day we hear the news of people doing perverted actions. They have listened to their own voice of the lower self. They are led by their own whims. And they find themselves coming into deep trouble. The society only offers him safety, being in the prison. Or hospitalized, lunatic asylum. One who has conquered his self and has become peaceful, who remains balanced in cold and heat, pleasure and pain, and honor and dishonor, his mind becomes centered on the Supreme Self. Now, this is the plan of allowing the higher self to conquer the lower self. This is what dramatized in the Mahabharata. Pandavas represent the higher self, Kauravas the lower self, and there is a big battle. Now, what are the characteristics of victory, success? People generally ask, am I succeeding in my sadhana? Such a long time I've meditated, but I don't even see light. I would have liked to hear some melody. You have to always understand there is a kindergarten type of progress where any special feeling and sensitivity is a mark of success. But advanced success is a matter of your inner control. Are you feeling peaceful? You say, yes, I feel peaceful when you are in a peaceful stage. When people are good in satsanga, and then doing kirtan, I'm peaceful. And your goal is, even in situations that create agitation, trouble, in provocative situations, even in those situations, how to maintain peace. That becomes your big challenge. To the extent you do that, to that extent you are coming close to God. You are touching His toenails. Remains balanced in cold and heat, pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor. These are called pairs of opposites. The world of relativity is described in the terms of pairs of opposites. Things are not always the same. Suddenly there is terrible cold, then the weather changes and becomes terribly hot. Things become very pleasant. Success leads you to more success, more riches. But then situation turns and there's a lot of pain. Sometimes you are recognized well, good friends, etc. And then suddenly dishonor, insult, rationally or irrationally. This continues in a small measure or in big measure. Even in a close-knit family of very close and near and dear personalities. And yet you find yourself facing all these situations. But if you are moving towards God, Godward movement, all this you will take in a joyous way, just like the sky takes all the variations of clouds with serenity, remains unaffected. Develop that understanding. You are not a shaky spirit. You are the absolute self, God within you, nothing else. Jiva in you is a reflection of God. As such, the reality within you is the real I am. With that insight, not staying only with the intellect, but the insight that is being assimilated by you, by your faith, by your devotion, then that internal balance develops. With changing situations, you remain unaffected, just like a tree that has strong roots. The wind blows and the tree gets tossed, but emerges out of it stronger than before. You ask the tree, how is it? It does a lot. But when your roots are not strong enough, then even little puff of breeze shakes you out of your roots. This point, therefore, how to stay balanced, stay like the sky in all situations, gain and loss, honor, disorder, pleasure, pain, rise, all situations. And your mind continues to move towards God realization. The steady movement of the mind towards the highest attainment continues unimpeded, unrestricted, unthought. And with this, I will come. Om Shanti. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.